Hey, it's Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Welcome to Life Mastery Decoded, where I help you decode the struggles in your life in the areas of health, wealth, relationships, and spirituality with mind mastery, emotional management, and meditation. Welcome to today's podcast. Hey ladies, it's Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Welcome to today's episode, where I hope I am finding you changing the behavior you want to change with ease. If you are not changing your behavior, the ones you want to change, then it is my intention that in today's episode, I give you one nugget of inspiration towards your transformation. So today we got an email from the school. Cameron is not doing very well in his classes behaviorally. There's lots of, we keep getting information from the principal, sometimes a teacher, but mostly the principal. He goes to a very small charter school. And we'll get an email that says Cameron was horrible to the sub, or Cameron is still blurting out in class. He's being disrespectful. Anyway, so what they want to do is have another meeting. They want to have now me and mom and dad and the principal and Cameron be a part of this basically brainstorming kind of a meeting. And we go through our whole range of, me and mom, our whole range of emotions of frustration and anger and irritation. And then we kind of feel bad for Cameron. And then we're like, okay, wait, we're not gonna feel bad for him. And then we try to brainstorm, like, what can we do as parents to support him? And so a long time ago, I worked at a school that was all about changing and encouraging behavior change when it was necessary. When you have kids in your classroom, you want them to act a certain way. I mean, that creates this cohesiveness and this environment that's best for learning. And when that learning environment gets disrupted, then it's really hard to have learning take place. And because it's a school, the expectations are pretty high for the environment to be the right kind of environment for learning to take place. Okay, so anyway, when I worked at the school, we learned a lot about behavior and how we can help our kids and students to choose better behavior. And there's a reason I'm telling you all this, but the education, the baseline is we behave as a person, as an adult, as a child, we behave for one reason and one reason only, and that is to get a need met. That is to get a need met, and we all have needs. So when I choose a behavior, no matter what it is because I am meeting a need that's in myself. And I have somewhere along the line selected that this behavior meets that need. So for example, if I was really young, and this was not my behavior as a kid, but as an example, I was really young, I have a high power need, I want to be in charge, I want what I want, and I'm going to get it. And I found that if I kick and scream in a grocery store, even though my mom gets mad, she's going to buy me the candy bar, or she's going to buy me the juice, or she's going to buy me the cereal, whatever. But I learned that as a need, I have a high power need, I want what I want, but if I act like this, then I get what I want. Now those two things get linked together. So now when I get older, I can act like a complete ding dong and I'm going to get a need met. I'm going to get that same need met. We adjust our behaviors as we are in different environments and as we get older, but the actual need does not go away. Meaning, if I had a high power need as a kid, I want to be in charge, I want to make my own decisions, I want to be independent, I want what I want, and that's just it. If that's one of my higher needs, that need is not going to go away. It's not going to go away. I'm still going to have that same need, but I might choose a different behavior. I'm now just going to spend all my money at the grocery store buying whatever cereal, whatever candy bars, whatever pop, anything I want. I'm not going to go and throw a temper tantrum because now I have money. So now I'm just going to spend money all the time because it satisfies the same need. Okay. Now let's pause for a second. Amy and I were talking on the phone at her lunch break, and we're talking about this conversation that we're trying to schedule with the principal and with Cameron. And I said, well, we've had these conversations before. We've met, we've talked with him at dinner, we've talked with him after, we've talked to him on the phone, we've talked to him with dad, we've had conversation after conversation after conversation. And we sometimes, hold things over his head to understand that, listen, this school at any time can say you are no longer welcome to come to this school. And now you have to go to one of the bigger high schools or middle school, because he's in seventh grade. But you have to go to one of the other bigger schools, a public school. And I, Jen, think that you, Cameron, are going to hate a public school. So I think, okay, so well, I could threaten him with that. And I could say, hey, listen, you know what? This school is a privilege. They have a lot of really cool things that go on here. And you get to play magic. You get where these electives, you get to sign up. There's cooking, there's magic, there's hiking, there's sledding, there's sewing. There's all these different electives that happen like every 6 weeks on a Friday. And I said, they don't do that in the public school. And they have sledding day. I said, they don't do that in the public school. And he's like, well, we have brain break. Yeah. And as a seventh grader in school, you're not going to have that. That's considered recess. Public schools at seventh grade don't have recess. The hikes that you do, the sit spot, which is like, you go out into this part of the property. They're like on this huge piece of property that used to be an old asylum, our state hospital, that now has been converted over to condos and a pavilion place where there's some housing and there's some condos and townhouses and some shopping. And it's really, really cool environment. It's like its own little village. And that's where this school is. And it's on just hundreds of thousands of acres, all these woods and rolling hills and trails and all these animals. And it's just beautiful. It's a great place to hike and to hang out. So they would go back there during one of the classes and they'd get to basically find a spot to sit. And it's kind of this meditative position. You go find a space away from anyone and you sit and, when I blow the whistle or I say, come back or whatever, then you come back. But it's just very quiet. They don't do that in public schools. This hands-on, project-based, where you're working with a team to create this thing together. I said, they rarely do that. You don't have homework at the school. Yeah, you're going to have a lot of homework in the public school. So we've been talking about this ongoing now for 2 years. And it's just not sinking in. So his behavior's not changing. So I'm on the phone with Amy. And I said, listen, the bottom line is we have to figure out why he's behaving the way he is. We have to understand, why is he choosing this behavior to get a need met? And that's not so much that part, not the why, I'm sorry, I misspoke that. It is, what need is he trying to satisfy? What need is he trying to satisfy? That he is somewhere along the line is getting that need met by this negative behavior. Is it attention? Is it power? Because I don't get much attention for doing the good things. They hardly recognize it. My parents talk to me only for a few minutes if I did something good, but oh my God, look at all the attention I get for being disrespectful in the classroom. So kids may choose a negative, even adults may choose a negative behavior to get a response, anything, because they might not be getting the attention that they want. And with that, they are not getting that need met. Well, not getting the need met leads to this survival mechanism kicking in, meaning I'm about to die if I don't get this need met. On this emotional level, that's what it feels like. So as we're standing here having this conversation, I said, Cameron has a high power need, meaning he always wants to be in charge. He wants to be very independent. The other one is fun, always wanting to have fun. He's constantly talking about how boring that teacher was, how boring the sub is, how boring the class is. So basically, I choose to, instead of paying attention to her because she's boring, I'm going to do something else that's disruptive at the back of the class. There's a freedom need, freedom from boundaries, freedom to do what I want when I want. But it's just this freedom. That typically does not equate to, I'm going to pull a bunch of people off course. I have a high freedom need, meaning I don't want a 9-to-5 job. I want variety. I want to come and go. I want to do what I want. I want to have this freedom, like these choices. He sort of has that too. The other one is community or love and belonging. Love and belonging and community is being a part of something bigger, volunteering for things, being a part of groups of people. Now that is totally not me. Like I don't feel, unless I'm leading a group, I don't like to be a part of. These are people who volunteer, they belong with churches, they work at the schools, they are part of big groups. and their calendar is always full. And the last one is security, and that is having a high need of survival, money, food, shelter. You don't own a car that's less than 5 years old, or that's more than 5 years old, because you're afraid it's going to break down. You always have 401ks and 301bs, and you always have money saved, and you have money in your pocket, and you have clear debt. You always have food in the fridge. You go to the grocery store 1,000 times a week. And so those are basically your 5 basic needs. That is when I read the book by Dr. William Glasser, The 5 Basic Needs, those are the gist. Okay, that's the definition, the gist of those 5 basic needs. The combination of any of those 5 basic needs is what you're going to keep throughout your whole life. The behavior to get those needs met is what changes. So if we look back at our life and go, I want to accomplish this thing, whatever this goal is, but I need to change my behavior. And in order to change my behavior, I need to do it in a way that allows that new behavior to stick. So if you have something that you want to change, you want to lose a few pounds, you need to change your behavior as far as I can't just eat what I want, or I can't drink pop anymore, or I have to quit smoking, or I have to exercise more. That's all about changing your behavior. So the bottom line is, first you have to recognize that you changing your behavior changes the outcome of the need, the thing. So Cameron changing, because the behavior that he's choosing right now is not getting a very pleasant outcome. There's a lot of people that get upset or are annoyed by it. He's moving in a direction that certainly may result in a changing of schools. Maybe you don't like education, which means maybe now you won't choose to go to college. So there's lots of ways that this path that he's on, to us, he is diverting off of a successful path. He's building a reputation that he's the mouthy kid. He's a disrespectful kid. So we sit back and look and go, okay, this behavior that you're choosing is leading to this outcome. And we, as your parents, think that's not a great outcome. So what behavior can you see that you are doing that is leading to a negative outcome? I am constantly eating sugar or drinking pop or sleeping too late or not exercising, and it's leading to this outcome of my body not feeling very good to be in. Or I'm constantly spending my money, so leading to the outcome of I never have money to save. And now I'm so-and-so old and I don't have any money anywhere, and I'm not building the wealth that I want to be building. So look at your life, pick that area and say, okay, this is the behavior I'd like to change. Now, one question that makes it really, really important and makes changing your behavior so much easier is to ask yourself, what need am I fulfilling with this behavior? So, for example, I typically spend money almost as fast as it comes in. I love spending money. I love buying things. I love ordering books. I love buying courses. A lot of it's in the personal development field. But what I usually end up saying and justifying is, well, yeah, but I need it for my business. Because the smarter I can be, the more I can teach. So I'm willing to pioneer down this personal development spirituality path, learn and implement as much as I can to have a beautiful, successful life, and then teach those steps to other people. That is the path that I'm on. But then I go and buy stuff for the garden and the yard and the dogs and the kids and my car and and a couple more books and whatever. But what I end up doing is I'm overspending. Then I say, okay, you know what? I want to change that. I want to start building wealth. I want to start having hundreds of thousands of dollars in my bank account. So what behavior do I need to change? So I look at all of the behaviors I have regarding money. Do I save? Do I invest? Do I spend limited amount but put other away? Do I have separate accounts for different piles of money? Am I divvying my money up across different categories? And then I sit back and go, okay, which of those behaviors do I want to change? And let's say I want to change them all. So I decide I'm going to change all of my behaviors as far as my money spending goes. What need is being met? And I would say for me, it's 2 things. It's power, because I'm in control. I have this $100 in my pocket. I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to buy this, and this. And I'm going to order these books and these these oracle cards, and I'm going to buy this plant, and I'm going to buy some dog stuff. Okay. So it's power. It's about being in charge and feeling like I'm in control. So now I say, okay, so now I decide it's that need. I'm fulfilling the power need. Okay. But I want to build this. If I continue to use this behavior to create wealth, if I continue to use this behavior or continue to perform this behavior, I'm going to continue to get this result. And that result over time is going to get worse. Because now I'm 67 and I still don't have any money. Now I'm 73 and I still don't have any money. And now I'm 84 and I still have to work someplace because I don't have any money saved anywhere. So I have to look farther down the road. How, if I don't change this behavior, how is my life going to change? Or what is my life going to look like 5, 10, 30, 50 years down the road? It's going to be worse, probably. If I continue to eat this way, how is my health going to look 5, 10, 15, 50 years down the road? Then I say, if I'm meeting the power need, whatever the need is, if I'm meeting the power need, then I'm going to ask myself, what other behavior can I create or can I perform to get a different result? Because now I'm at this point, I want to build wealth. So how can I fill my need for power, but on this road to building wealth instead of this road where I have to work the rest of my life? And that's where it becomes a little bit more creative, where I go, okay, well, let's try this. How about I save money? Does that fulfill my power need? All right, how about I go start another business and I create passive income? Ooh, that has a little bit more excitement to it. That feels kind of fun and in charge. How about I go get a second job? Bleh. Okay, no. How about I invest my money into a CD or a Roth IRA? Nah, that's all right, but I'm just going to put it there and it's going to be over in a second. So I start to explore different behaviors that I could pick up that would get me a different result. So as I am doing that, I have to first decide I want to change my behavior, which means I have to take full responsibility for my life. I have to take full, not half, not partial, not zero, full responsibility for my life. I am in charge of my future. I'm in charge of my today. I'm in charge of my energy. I'm in charge of my money. I'm in charge of my business or my income. I'm in charge of my health. So now just making that decision that says, you know what? I'm ready. I'm going to do this. I am going to change my life. I'm going to stop where I'm going right now and I'm going to turn right instead of continuing down this path that's going to get me into a worse situation. Okay? Just deciding it makes me feel empowered. Can you decide the same thing? Can you now look back and go, yeah, you know what? She's right. I'm in charge of my health. I'm in charge of my relationships. I'm in charge of my life in general. So I'm going to make a decision, make a commitment, move with certainty in a different direction. And I'm going to change some of those things. Just deciding that becomes complete. To me, that moves me straight to empowered. The next is to find out what need I'm getting met. To figure that out. Why am I doing what I'm doing? What am I feeling when I do that? When I go into the kitchen and just eat mindlessly, what am I actually doing? I'm filling a power need. Okay. Then the next is I'm going to brainstorm new ways to behave. And as you pick this new behavior, try it on for a little bit. Try it on for a couple of days and see if it satisfies that need. Because if mine's a high power need, and then I say, okay, so when money comes in, I'm going to put it in these categories. Do I feel the same satisfaction as I do when I go out and spend it? And if the answer is no, then keep looking. This is the thing where so many people, they pick up a new behavior or make a decision and the decision doesn't work for them, so they just go back to the other behavior. Well, I tried to quit smoking this is not true, I never smoked, but I tried to quit smoking one time, and so I thought I would chew gum instead, and so every time I wanted to smoke, I would chew gum, but it didn't satisfy that need, so within a couple of weeks, I just went back to smoking again. How many of you have ever done that? I mean, how many times have you tried to quit something or change something and you weren't able to do it. You weren't able to make that change stick. Well, that's why, because you're meeting a need and that need still isn't being satisfied, and your brain goes back to, remember smoking, that satisfied that need. Remember negative behavior, that satisfied that need. So let's go back to doing that. The next is to create actionable steps. So in here, we would figure out, if we could get Cameron on board, if we could figure out why he's getting that need met. And if he's bored, he says he's bored all the time. Okay, so is he trying to get the fun need met? Like, I never say that I'm bored, ever, never say, I can't wait to be bored. My life is so busy now. But if I was saying that I was bored, to me, that feels like I want more fun. Okay, so now let's figure out, what else can you do in the classroom that isn't disrespectful, that isn't disruptive, but that satisfies your need of fun? Like, what could that be? Because so many times these teachers or principals are just going to come up with a negative response to try to get him to change his behavior. Well, what I say is, most of the time, kids don't know why they do what they do. They just do it. They just do it. They realize somewhere along the line it satisfied that need. Somewhere it gets embedded into the subconscious mind that if I act like this, I get this need met. So if we can get him on board, then the next is going to be creating actionable steps. So instead of reaching for that negative behavior, he's now going to reach for this positive behavior and fulfill that need. But in order to do that, we need to have a willing participant. We need to have somebody at the other end, someone sitting in the hot seat that says, yes, I want to change this behavior because I see that this behavior is not getting me really the ultimate goal. It's not getting me what I want. You know, it's getting me in trouble. It's getting me grounded. It's getting my phone taken away. It's getting my something or my such and such. And I don't want that negative attention or those negative things to happen to me. So I need to do something different. And if we can get him to buy into the idea, if you can get yourself to buy into the new idea to change directions, then I think we would have a willing participant. I think we would have a willing participant. And if you're willing, then you'll change. If you're willing, then you want. And want creates the momentum to move you forward. If you are willing, then you want. I'm willing to do these next steps. Then you come up with your actionables. What am I going to do? So instead of choosing a cigarette, I'm going to choose this instead. And then I'm going to assess. When I don't choose the cigarette and I choose this instead, do I still feel excited, empowered, and wanting and willing? If I don't, then we got to come up with something else. Because if money comes in and I'm just putting it through these categories, does it satisfy the need that I have for that power need to be able to spend it? If the answer is yes, then keep doing that. If the answer is no, then find something else. So you have to kind of assess. Just like yesterday in yesterday's podcast, we talked about course correction in the airplane. Am I still heading in the right direction? I got to go a little bit east. I got to go a little bit west. Okay, a little bit higher, right? I got to constantly course correct. That's about assessing. So do these steps for a little bit and then assess. Oh yeah, it's working. I like it. It's working really good. Okay. Another couple of things that you can do. Change the environment. So don't buy cigarettes anymore. Don't buy sugar anymore. Put, Amy and I were talking about, exercising. And so it's like we have a basement, a full basement with a walkout. And I just absolutely love the basement. And I have a bunch of exercise stuff down there because I used to be a personal trainer and a boot camp instructor and a fitness instructor. So I have tons of different exercise stuff. So we have a gym set up. But then we're constantly saying, it's really cold down there. I don't want to go downstairs. It's cold downstairs. And I think, okay, well, what would get us to work out? So I'm going to create a new environment that creates some excitement. This is the same question when I began my meditation practice years ago. I said, what is going to get me to meditate? I want to go buy stuff. I want to set it up. I want to have a little table with some cloths and some beautiful items and a statue and some incense and a candle and some information, a little book or something. And I want some chakra stones and I want some stuff. I want to go buy stuff, right? Well, then I did. And that's when the meditation kits were born. Like, people like to buy stuff. And our customers and our clients are women. Women like to buy stuff. And I'm like, sweet, let's help them to build their meditation practice by giving them stuff. Let's have them buy stuff for their meditation space. So now I set up a meditation space. I find a space that's beautiful and I set it all up and I make it beautiful. Now when I come around the corner and I see it, I am more apt to choose to use it. So when you are trying to change your behavior, is create changes in your environment that induce the new behavior, the new choice. So instead of buying cigarettes, I'm going to buy different kinds of gum, and it's fun. Like I smoked cigarettes back then because it was fun. I smoked them with my friends, and we would hide behind the barn, and I would steal my dad's cigarettes, and we'd go light up, and it was fun, and it was sneaky, and it was crazy, and it was weird. And so I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to do it with gum. I'm going to buy all different kinds of gum, and it's exciting. And look at this one's fruit, and this one's mint, and this is like this weird licorice one. But either way, it's a healthier choice. maybe not gum in general, but the choice that you're trying to create, the new behavior, the new choice, we're seeing that is the direction of where I want to go. I want to stop smoking so I can be healthy. So I'm going to pick a healthy choice. I want to not be deemed that kid in the classroom. So I'm going to pick a different choice. I want to give my all to my academics and have fun when it's appropriate to have fun. So I want to create a new environment. I'm going to pull this out of my backpack to use in the classroom instead of this. I'm going to make this choice instead. So changing your environment a little bit. Amy and I love to bike ride. I love bike riding. And so I'm like, okay, you know what? Why don't we buy new bikes? Oh, that's really exciting. Okay, so instead of choosing this or just to lay around and watch movies, how about we go for a bike ride on our new bikes? We'll get the car with a bike rack, and we'll get a bike rack for the car, and then now we can go anywhere, and we'll make some trips, and we'll join a bike tour, one that goes up the state or something. We could train for the bike tour. Now it gets us excited to make different choices. And the last one, but there's two things, is to go easy on yourself. Change can be hard, but if you implement these steps, it becomes easier and easier. If you find out why you're doing the thing, why you're choosing that behavior, you are more likely to get all the way to the bottom, the core, the foundation of that behavior. And if you change it, if you understand why you behave that way, you're more likely to change it. But in this process is to be patient and be easy on yourself and be encouraging. Write yourself notes. Create a gratitude box that says, hey, you know what? Thank you for choosing that today. Thank you for choosing health. Thank you for choosing to chew gum instead of smoke a cigarette. Thank you for bike riding instead of laying on the couch. Thank you for choosing positive behavior towards your academics instead of negative or disrespectful behavior. So I do hope that this served you. I hope that you got some ideas. This is one of my favorite things to assess when we're talking about behavior and making changes in our lives. I have changed lots and lots and lots and lots of behavior that I didn't want into something more positive by using these tools here. So I hope that they served you. And if you need some support, Lady Rising on Facebook is our very intimate women's group of support. This is where we come together to support one another. So you can come into this group and say, hey, through the membership questions, I came in through Jen's podcast and I'm having some trouble. I want to stop smoking. I want to start a business. I want to leave a relationship. I want to lose weight. I want to whatever. And let us support you in this group. We are continuing to grow and we're continuing to hold sister circles where we talk about different things in those sister circles, and you're able to share with us what is going on, and we're able to just listen and support you by sharing tools with you and being there for you so you understand you don't have to do this alone. So I hope you'll join us, and I hope you make some change in your life and you'll get going towards the goals that you want to achieve. If you liked this episode, please share this with 3 of your friends. And if you like this episode and look forward to future episodes, please consider making a small monthly donation to help support this podcast. If you're looking for a community to join and have more access to me, then consider joining one of my communities. Chakras for Beginners is an energy-based community that is highly active and growing every day. Lady Rising is a sistership community where the focus is on spiritual support and empowerment. We hold monthly calls and talk about topics just as like today's episode. We also have an online store where we can meet your meditation and chakra needs with products for your journey. You can visit us at www.themeditationroomtc.com. Thank you for joining me and being a valued listener.